Penguin Random House Canada presents The Good Girls, An Ordinary Killing by Sonia Faleiro. Read for you by the author.
Women must particularly be guarded against evil inclinations, however trifling they may appear. For if they are not guarded, they will bring sorrow on two families. The Laws of Manu. Prologue. Good days are coming soon. People call them Padma Lalli like they were one person. Padma Lalli, Padma Lalli. Have you seen Padma Lalli? At 16, Padma was the older cousin by 2 years. She was small, only 5 feet, but even so she was bigger than Lalli by 3 inches. Padma had oval eyes, smooth skin, and collarbones that popped. She had long black hair that she knew to pat down with water and tightly plait, or else there would be words. Lalli's camise hung from her frame like washing on the line. Round-shouldered and baby-faced, she was a quiet romantic who read poems out loud. Padma had dropped out of school, but Lalli told her father she wanted to study and get a job. And while it would please him to share the memory of this conversation, they had both known it would never happen. The school Lalli attended had a roof, but not enough rooms. Many classes were conducted outside, in the dirt, and there were 7 teachers for 400 pupils. But even if the school had been different, a girl's destiny lay in the hands of her husband. School broke up one blazing afternoon in May, and all the children congregated in Ramnath's orchard to shout, run, and climb trees. Lalli hurried to Padma's side. As the others pelted down green mangoes, the teenagers stood aloof. They were together always, apart from everyone. Some 3,000 people lived in Katra Sadatganj, an eye-blink of a village in the Badauni district of western Uttar Pradesh, crammed into less than 1 square mile of land. On harvest mornings, when it was time to cut the rabi crops, the entire village congregated in the fields. Women hitched their saris, and men rolled up their trouser bottoms. By 8 a.m. the ground was tapestried with branches of tobacco, and freshly picked garlic bulbs filled the air with a biting fragrance. Even small children pitched in. They shooed the crows that swooped through the fields like great black fishing nets. They chased away the long-limbed rhesus monkeys that prowled lunch bundles for roti sabzi. That summer, temperatures climbed to 42 degrees Celsius. Amid whirlpools of dust, cobras slithered out of their holes, but the barefoot boys and girls paid no heed. The harvest was the one precious opportunity their families had to make money. Economic growth had improved incomes, and elections every 5 years brought promises of more. The day before the harvest, on 26 May, a charismatic new Prime Minister named Narendra Modi was sworn in with an irresistible slogan, "Achhe din aane wale hain." Good days are coming soon. As they waited, the majority of families in Katra went without electricity, gas, running water, and toilets. They bought solar panels. They lowered buckets into wells. They gathered dung for cooking fuel. They squatted in the fields, pulling their knees up to their chest as they scrolled through their phones to pass the time. Some were carpenters and tailors. Others worked as political fixers, marriage brokers, cycle puncture repairmen, or tonga drivers. They sold vegetables, chickens, and country liquor. They broke the law to mine sand from riverbanks. A few well-off families had tractors that they leased out. About a third of the men had a piece of land. It was just a few beakers, never quite an acre, but whatever it was theirs. Land was security, from which everything flowed. It put dal in the katori, clothes on the back. Land was power. It attracted a good quality of bride who would bring a good dowry. This would increase their security and social standing. Above all, land was identity. It made them cultivators. Without it, the men were reduced to landless labourers. They were destined to go wherever there was work, for whatever they were offered. They could be compared to the Yadav cattle herders in the neighbouring hamlet, of whom it was said, "They are rooted to nothing and committed to no one." The men of Katra spent almost all day in the fields. The children studied here, since the good school, which taught English, was near the orchard. In the evenings, when the edges of the clouds softened and blurred, and a cool breeze rippled through the crops, women came back down from the village to draw water and socialize. Boys teased the limping dogs, and the limping dogs chased rats. Girls huddled. The smell was heat, husks, and buffalo droppings. After night hooded the fields, men dragged their charpoys over and hunkered down under blankets, bamboo poles at the ready, same as farmers up and down the district this time of year. They would protect their harvest with their lives if they had to, whether from the gunslinging bandits who came for motorbikes, or the herds of Nilgai who sought seeds and stems. Everything was here. Everything happened here. And so naturally, it was here, in the fields, that the rumor started. Rabi, Spring 2014. An accusation is made. Rajiv Kumar had a side job as a government teacher, but his real job was farming. While working his land, he had observed Padma and Lalli. They were as alike as 2 grains of rice, and they spent all day in the fields. Now one girl, he couldn't tell which, had a phone to her ear. He didn't like it. Some villages in Uttar Pradesh forbade unmarried women from using phones. A phone was a key to a door that led outside the village via calls and messaging apps. The villagers were afraid of what would happen if women stepped through this door. They might get ideas, such as whom to marry. Records showed that 95% of Indians still married within their caste, and anyone who didn't attracted attention. In 2013, a young woman from Katra village took off with a man from a different caste. Her father was so ashamed he couldn't show his face, people said. The woman had chosen to marry against his will, to have what was known as a love marriage, rather than leaving it to her father to arrange a partner for her. She had violated the honor code and would never see her parents again, for their safety, and certainly hers. A few months after that, it was the turn of a girl from the next-door hamlet of Jati. The news of the elopements moved like a swarm of whirring insects, landing first here and then there, until all the nearby villages were warned. Change is coming. Be vigilant. Be ready to act. In 2014, for the first time, the National Crime Records Bureau, which publishes the number of cases registered for crimes, published data on honor killings. 28 cases were reported in the country, but everyone knew the true number was hundreds, if not thousands more. Girls were killed for marrying outside their caste or outside their religion, and sometimes having premarital sex was reason enough. With the killing, the family's honor was reclaimed, or, at least, the other villagers were given notice that the family had taken the errant behavior seriously and done their best to right a wrong. The constitution had existed for only decades, while Hindu religious beliefs dated back thousands of years, said one father who was accused of killing his daughter. In Katra, the rule was that boys could own phones, but girls had to get permission to use them. Even so, Padma and Lalli knew what to do with the phone better than their mothers, who could identify neither letters nor numbers. Padma often called her maternal uncles, reciprocating the effort they had put into keeping in touch after their only sister, Padma's biological mother, had died. Lalli texted her elder brother, who worked for a car parts manufacturer far away. The girls used the torch feature to light their way into the pit of the night. Rajiv Kumar didn't know this because he didn't know them. He didn't even know their parents beyond the usual "Sab theek," all well. But a girl's life was everyone's business. He was determined to do his duty. His plot was near some land owned by a close relative of the girls named Babu Nazruram. With his bold cut, pan-stained teeth and sloppy smile, Nazru was approachable. At 26, he wasn't that much older than the girls. They shouldn't be out in public with a mobile phone, Rajiv Kumar said, speaking in Braj Bhasha, the language of these parts. Who knows who they are talking to? Although the fields adjoined the village, the walking distance from the Shakya house to the orchard was 10 minutes or more. The orchard wasn't even visible from the house, which was located in a spider web of lanes. Rajiv Kumar's implication was clear. The girls chose that particular time because they were alone. They chose that place because it was secluded. To remove any doubt, he used the word chakkar to indicate there was something crooked about all this, something off balance. The girls in your family are romancing someone, he said. Nazru agreed that it didn't look good. You should let their parents know, Rajiv Kumar said. A few days passed and Rajiv Kumar again saw the girls talking on the phone. He again sought out Nasru, who explained that a complaint could backfire. The girl's parents might accuse him of slander. Rumors were butterflies, they might say.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?